Hello again. Today we're going to talk about DHCP and NAT. Actually, it's two important topics. We're going to talk about both DHCP and NAT. Let's put it here. NAT and DHCP. Okay, we're going to configure a lab for NAT and DHCP. I will go to the new. But let's discuss the theory first. This is the basics of NAT. So basically, we're going to talk about actually path overload. Okay, this is a way where, for example, let's say we want. This is a protocol that helps us, that converts our private IP address into a single public IP address. Okay, because there are many other types of NAT, but we will be focusing on path overload. Okay, because this is the most common and used one in the real-world production environment. Okay, the idea is to convert multiple private IP addresses from your internal network into a single public IP address. Okay, this prevents this is the benefit of this is like as you know, there are limited public IP addresses. Okay, because of NAT, we are able to use only one single public IP address to multiple internal private IP addresses. Okay, so basically convert public private multiple private IP addresses internal network to a single public address. Okay, this is what NAT is. Okay, so we are going to configure path overload. Okay, so we can see it on the real world production environment. So let's start with one route. We'll put two router. Okay, so we're going to stimulate that this one is going to be the PC. We're going to put one switch here. And we're going to use this one for this and this. Let's keep it there tomorrow, so to work just later. So, but maybe not just the balance possible. G001, G00, G01. Enable config t just let's say int range G00 up to 1. I'm going to configure. I'm going to just not shut down. Okay. So now I'm going to make this 213.0.16.2, whatever. This port. This is the port. This is the internal. This is the external network. This is the internet basically. and here the internal network is going to be 192.168.100.1. The default gateway, but the internet will be the network will be 0.0. So let's put here, connect this one here. Okay, now let's give this IP addresses. Let's give them 192.168.100.2. Okay, and the default gateway will be 192.168.100.1. Remember, the default gateway has to be the main router's IP address. And yeah, this is actually not connected for some reason. What's the issue? Something on the device must be powered on, so let's power it on. There is, yeah, okay, there is a button there to power on the PC actually here, so now it should work. Okay, let's give it some time so it will start the PC. No, but I already powered it on. Okay. Okay. Until it starts, let's continue with the Cisco the router configuration. Okay. So let's exit here. Okay. So here we have go to int G01. Okay, and we will configure the IP address, internal IP address 192.168.100.1. Again 255.255.255.0. Okay, now I have to use this command IP NAT inside to specify that this IP is actually from inside the network, right? So I have to put IP NAT inside here. Okay, and then no shutdown. Okay, then exit. Now let's go to the G00 interface, this one. Okay, let's configure the internet's IP address, public IP address 213.0.16.2 255.255.255.0. Then IP NAT, no, first no shutdown, then IP NAT outside. These two commands you need to remember: IP NAT outside and IP NAT inside. This to outside, and then once I configure this, then the next step is to use ACL to configure access list to permit access list. Okay, one, I think it's permit. Yeah, permit, and source. Not permit the IP address. Yeah, 192.168.1.100.0, and the subnet the mask 255. Okay, so this way I'm permitting the yeah. So I'm basically saying that this command allow this internet, this IP addresses, this internal IP addresses to pass through this port. Okay, we're going to set this up now. After this access list is set up, Next step is IP NAT source 1, which is the IP, which is the access list number here, the access list. And no, I think it's the IP NAT inside. Okay. Then I'll put the source list, and then 1. This is the access list. Okay. Then the interface, this is G00, where the interface that's going to go out with where the public IP is configured. G00, then overload. So that's it. That's all we need to do to configure NAT. Okay. So now path overload. So this is NAT and it's configured. Okay. To check, we can use do show NAT translation. I'm not sure about the command. 1 second. Let's review our NAT translation. NAT. Let's just check the command quickly here. Translation. Just skip it here. Skip it. This will show IP NAT. Yeah, we forgot to add IP, so it will actually bring it if you ask show IP NAT translations. Nothing is showing here for some reason. Exit. IP. There is other command, I think, about this one. So yeah. Cisco. Yeah, show IP NAT variation. There are more than one actually. Let's see what is the commands. Show IP translation. This one displays the active dynamic static NAT translation. Okay. Here it's not showing anything. IP NAT statistics. Yeah, for some reason it's not actually configuring, adding it here. Let me check this configuration. Let me add this configuration. Maybe it's because this is not configured yet. Enable config T. Let's see this port G00. Let's give it an IP address. An IP address 213.0.16.3 255.255.255.0. No shit. So I think maybe it's because it's a Cisco packet tracer. We're using packet tracer. It's okay. We are going to configure this later on. We're going to practice we're going to set up a whole lab and configure all the protocols that we are learning on this topics. and we'll configure it using JNS3. Okay, so, and then yeah, there we'll set it up again. But the commands that you need to remember here are on each IP NAT inside and IP NAT outside. These are for the we will use IP NAT inside for the internal the port on the router that's connected to the internal network. IP NAT outside port is connected to the external network, to the internet. And then the access list configuration, access list configuration. The exact configuration is, one second, let's go back here. Exact command I showed you here. This is the configuration. Access list 1 permits. Again, just like I said, like it's not sometimes it's not possible for you to remember all the commands. Okay, this is why we have question mark help command here. Like for example, here I type access list. Okay, if I don't remember what comes after access list, all I have to do is add question mark here, and I'll put 1. This is the number, standard access list, right? And then here it will give me all the options that are available. Okay, here permit or deny. So that's why we have to follow this one. Basically it's the same command as I showed you here. And let's move on to DHCP, and we'll get back to this topic on the final lab. Okay, and DHCP, basically I think already most of you know about DHCP. DHCP is a protocol. That assigns IP automatically to devices. This is one the definition basically. So there are 2 ways of assigning IP to PCs or devices or access point or whatever, right? There is, you can do it statically, or you can do it using DHCP, right? You can just configure DHCP on the router or the modem, and automatically your PCs will get the IP from the modem, right? And there is an option to define the pool of IP address that you want to assign the user. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this one. Okay, I'm going to add 2 PCs, 1 switch. I'm going to configure the DHCP on this router. So I'm going to configure this one. I'm going to give it an IP 192.168. No. This we're going to use DHCP right from here to request IP from the router. So let's configure the port here. Let's see, the port is port G00, right? Let's just go here, enable config T and port 0x0. 0 and no shutdown. The IP address, first thing I'm going to do is actually set the default gateway, because we have to set it here, right? IP address, we have to set the default gateway. IP address 192.168.1.1 255.255.255.255. No, 0. Okay, so we set the default gateway here to this port. then once we did that, IP address, and next step is that yeah, once we configure this, yeah, let's go and configure the DHCP IP. First, before configuring the DHCP, we have to add the excluded addresses. These are the addresses that will be excluded, that will not be given to assigned to PCs or devices. Okay, to be excluded from the DHCP. Like for example, if you have a printer that you have configured statically, you can define it here. Usually the printer we are giving a static IP address, right? You can define it here, or this default gateway, this one for example, this one should be excluded from the DHCP, right? We can add it here. Okay, done. And then we can do this one, IP DHCP pool. We can give it a name like marketing or whatever, marketing department. Okay, like this. And then see, it took me to the DHCP config. If you see here, DHCP config. And the next step, I can define the network. Let's say 192.168.1.0. Okay, and .0.0.2255. Don't worry about this. Okay, this is a wildcard mask. Okay, this is the same like 255.255.255.0. Okay, but we're using it. This is a wildcard mask. Okay, I will explain it when we reach the routing protocols. Invalid network. No, I think this here we are supposed to do it this way. Yeah, the normal 255.255.255.0. So now let's configure the default gateway. We're not configuring the default gateway, we are assigning it. We're mentioning the default gateway so that the PCs can get this gateway as well. 168.1.1, this is our default gateway. Default, actually, I think it's default router here. Yeah, so DNS server, we can put 8.8.8.8. Let's just, yeah, 8.8.8.8. Yeah, so that's it actually. This is how IP is configured, the DHCP is configured. Right now it should work. To test it out, let's go to the PC here now. Okay, let's set it to the DHCP. Done. As you can see, I'm getting the IP now, 192.168.1.2, and the default gateway and the DNS server. Right? Let's see this one. This PC also gets the IP. Done again. So this is how the DHCP is configured. Okay. Yeah, this is how the DHCP is configured. So you can keep practicing these commands. Okay, these commands are easy actually. They are very equal to keep in mind. You can configure this. You can practice these commands. Okay, and see you on the. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next session. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment.